to all of our Ellipse Unsealed listeners. Thank you for joining us again today. Here with us is our guest, Tad Dockstader. Hi, Tad.
Hello.
Hey, Tad. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, Bobby.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Do you kind of want to start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. As you already know, my name is Tad, and the little blurb that you see underneath my name is that I'm a Dynamics enthusiast. I think I can be a bit of a excited person for all the different technologies that are available in Dynamics, but that's my day job is global IT manager for the Kurt J. Lesker company here in Pittsburgh. And as a manufacturer and distributor, we've basically based our entire business off of running Dynamics, whether it's finance and operations in CRM and HR and Power Automate and Power Apps and everything. So we're fully committed to making our business work, and Dynamics is one way that helps us do that. And I get to understand all of the different capabilities that are within Dynamics, and then try to bring them to the day-to-day operation of the business.
There's a lot going on with AI and Copilot and Power Platform.
Oh yeah, that's
a lot of cool stuff.
That's very top of mind for our organization, and we've dipped our toes into using Copilot and AI in a variety of areas. We've been training our entire staff on the good, the bad, and the ugly of using AI, and we are researching now whether or not we're going to take the next step of utilizing some of the additional Copilot tools, Microsoft 365 Copilot. And then I'm very excited about some of the Copilot branded machine learning capabilities that are actually being built in to Dynamics. And none of that stuff is anything that we are relying on for our day-to-day right now, but it is actively being reviewed and deciding when will the value actually make sense to deploy it and have our folks actually start relying on it.
Yeah, that's kind of where you hear a lot of people right now, and where people probably should be. Like if you're not, at least, if you're not dipping your toes, researching and starting to build that framework and governance and understanding how you're going to use it. And just a lot of people are just, are on the other side where they know they want to use it. Like so many people are like, I need to use AI. How can I do it? It's like, I can't tell you that. You got to dig in and do the work in your organization.
And we've also taken a very strong stance that we need to educate our employees about how to keep themselves safe in their personal lives. And with all of these AI tools out there, and people might run into them when they're not at work, we want to make sure that they understand the benefits and the risks to them, and that's a lot of what we're basing our internal communication around.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a really good aspect that I'm guessing a lot of companies might not be doing, but that's pretty neat to go beyond what you're expecting in your like your business organization, but to look towards the employees, because like you said, this AI is out there, and it could be used in great ways and it can be used in nefarious ways, and you want to make sure consistently that people understand how to discern information that they're getting.
Absolutely. We want to give our employees the best tools possible to learn good information security habits. And if you expect them to only exercise those good practices when they're at work, you're missing out on an opportunity for them to really understand it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like, especially on this podcast and even everyone, it's been AI, Copilot. That's been the hot topic of conversations.
Well, that's where all the attention is going right now, and I think that's probably with some good intentions. I think it's a bit of a steep curve right now that everybody's trying to figure out how to get the most value from this hype. But I've also seen, when I put on my engineering hat, I also see that they've been making some good engineering choices in how it's being deployed. And I'm looking forward to when the next stages of integration come together and we start seeing more of the crossover of these different pockets of information into a more coherent whole of being able to access this information.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes. I am not committed to making myself or anybody in our company rely on it just yet.
Yeah. I got one eye looking at it forward and one eye going side at it. You know, it's like you gotta kind of keep it from all directions.
Yes,
there you go.
Definitely have a well-rounded perspective of it. That's a good way of putting it, Bobby. Yeah, so Tad, it sounds like you have like a wealth of knowledge in the Microsoft world. Do you kind of want to talk a little bit about your starts in the Microsoft, or your beginnings in the Microsoft community and kind of your journey there?
Sure. So our company started on Dynamics back in 2007. Many versions ago, and I was not involved in that initial implementation. I came on towards the tail end, so like late 2008, 2009, and somebody here said, "Well, you should go to one of the annual conferences, Summit at the time." And I went, and I said, "There's nobody here talking about the thing that I'm interested in." So I asked somebody, and they said, "Well, are you volunteering?" I said, "Well, I guess I am." And ever since that point in 2009, 15 years ago, I've been very vocal about saying that for me to get what I need out of the community, I need to give to the community and then get something in return. And so a lot of volunteering, participating in as both a moderator of sessions, speaker at sessions. I mean, when I started, I didn't know anything about anything. But as I sat as a moderator with other speakers and I picked up some of their information, and I got a chance to experiment with it on my own during my day job, I started digging into development and coding, learning more about how everything works underneath the hood, participating in functional designs, participating with Microsoft when they were asking for feedback. If they would come to an event and say, "Hey, can we get a couple people in a room to review this idea that we have?" I was right there to jump right in, because I wanted to base my decisions off of what was coming in the future, not about what I just had at my disposal right now. And basically using all that information to steer what I was doing personally within the organization. Met a bunch of great people. Bobby, you and I met at a community event, and that was another very selfish thing on my part. We were going to an event in Seattle, and I reached out to somebody else in the community that I knew and said, "I don't know anybody else that's going to be out there. Do you know anybody else that's going to be out there?" And then we ended up bringing a bunch of people together. Bobby and I met, and we've been we haven't separated yet. So if I don't say anything bad today, I think we're probably okay.
Yeah, no, it was a great, cross of paths for sure. And, it helped, having folks like Tad and like early days, I remember Gigi, who just retired. I just saw on LinkedIn, she retired officially.
Really? Okay.
Folks that are leading user groups in that time period when I just started were super helpful. So, I mean, it's a passionate community, and obviously everything Tad has just talked about is indicative of that.
So I'm still involved today. The interruption of COVID sort of shifted some of the things that we were doing a lot of things in person. Now we're doing a lot of things remotely, and that same pattern applies to what's going on in the community. So there's a lot more remote events within the community, but I still long for the getting together and seeing everybody and meeting new people and filing names and things away in the back of my brain and saying, yes, there are other people who are dealing with the same problems I am, and if we share our stories and we gang together, we can probably make some progress on them. So it's been a very productive 15 years, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it.
Yeah, and having the in-person events come back, and this year has been kind of a real big resurgence of in-person events. Like you said, there's still some hybrids going on, which is great for folks who want to attend multiple areas and locations. You can attend something in Arizona or Pennsylvania and meet people I'm like I said, I haven't met before. Add to my network that way, but I still feel there's nothing quite like an in-person event. And I'm glad that they're, cropping up and doing really well.
Yeah, I feel like they've really, I haven't been in the community long or anything like that, but I think, Bobby and we've spoken about this. There's just so many events to attend now. It's like, there's one this week, and which one should we attend? Which is really awesome because people get to pick and choose what they'd like to attend and everything like that. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, Ted, do you do any other like IT, non-dynamic, but more like IT, CIO or, that kind of conferences or meetings?
There's a few things that I get involved with some stuff related to policies and regulations and things like that. But I've been able to concentrate just on Dynamics for a good period of time.
Yeah,
and we do handshaking with the rest of the group in the department here, and I've got some really great people in the department who are handling infrastructure and PC support and security and things like that. And I mean, we're still in lockstep on all these capabilities, but it's great to have. I mean, it's been 15 years. I mean, we have more people now in our department than we did 15 years ago, and it's great to be able to share the load.
Yeah. So we talked about events. Obviously, we got a big one coming up in just about 19 days, something like that.
Yes.
18 days.
I think so.
Right here in Denver. So super excited to have an event of this size. It's the first time since I've been involved in community we've had an event like this in Denver.
My ticket is booked.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, my ticket is booked too. I was printing myself a little ticket just to feel like I might just get out of the airport and just to drive in and out just for the fun of it. Take all the selfies with the blue horse and just like everybody else is going to do. But yeah, let's talk a bit about DynCon. And you and I have been doing this for a while. We've been programming this event from an F&O curriculum or education standpoint, session standpoint for the last 3 years. Right. And one thing that is always fairly popular, we did this last year for both Summit and DynCon, is kind of going over some tips and tricks for people who are coming for the first time, and or even the second or third or fifth time. Just good to hear some things to think about when you're traveling to a conference like this, and then we'll talk about speakers as well, because we've got I don't know the percentage, but we try to fold in and get new speakers each year. So there'll be a lot of new folks coming to speak for the first time.
A lot of new speakers this year.
Yeah. So let's start with the new users or users in general. What's top of mind for you on things that you think about when going to a conference like this that others should kind of keep in mind?
I'm thinking about Copilot.
Helping you out. Copilot. What should I not forget when I go to this conference?
Microsoft is definitely going to be pushing a lot of topics. The folks that are going to be participating in the sessions, sitting in the audience, people that you're going to meet. But My guidance for new people going to these conferences is ask questions and do things that are very selfish, because I guarantee you there's at least 3 or 4 other people in the room who have exactly the same questions, exactly the same concerns, and you'll be really surprised at what you think is just for you is very general across the across all the other participants at the
Yeah.
event. And if you try to hold back and say, well, it's just my little thing, I'm not really going to stick my neck out, you're really missing out on an opportunity to get some conversation going, get some feedback, get some direction from people who might have lived that problem before, or at least commiseration with people who are living with the same issue that you're asking about.
Yeah, I'll second that, and I'll add just a layer or two onto it. The sessions are set. You know what's out there. You've got an application called Brella. We'll put a link in the post when we put this out. Definitely get out there and look at the sessions and see what interests you, so you can build your day. For F&O, we tried to do a good job of giving you some track flow, so if you're really specific into supply chain or finance, you can kind of pick a path that should suit you for the entire week. But you never know, and so I always suggest you get these in there. I'll put a backup in just in case you get to the first session and you realize, hey, maybe it's not quite what I wanted. You can, instead of having to search again through all the app, you can just have that backup there. Perfect. This is, it's gonna be room 2. I'm gonna run right over and kick this one in.
Yeah, Brella is a great app, and does a really good job of keeping you informed about what's going on. It updates in the background if there are any changes to the agenda or locations or anything like that. And it has some communication tools in it, so you can reach out to other people at the conference. I found it really good to mark people, like mark favorites on people that I've met, and then use that after the fact to go and update my contact list, instead of trying to write it down in a notebook or take a picture of their badge or anything like that. Just using the favorites in Brella is a pretty good tip.
Yeah. And and like you said, you can schedule time, and the other thing is, if you bring questions with you, you won't be stressed in the moment. Something might crop up, but at least you'll have something out of the gate. Like, I'm going to this session and I have this issue, and I know that Rachel Profit's going to be there. This is a great time to ask that question. Like Tad said, maybe somebody else has the same issue. Likely they do, out of 50 people in the room. And even if you're afraid to ask the question in the moment, across the board to a speaker, they're open to questions afterwards. Hit them, grab their attention. So if you're a little bit too shy to ask it in the big room, you have a chance at Medic Desk. You have a chance at after the session, at lunch, networking, lots of other opportunities to get your questions. But if you don't come with the questions and organize them, you might not get them answered. And this is why you should be going, is to educate yourself and build up your knowledge. So great tip. Another thing for me, just again, something that I did when I brought a big team. There's so much going on, and as these events grow, and you're talking about days worth of sessions, you might in 5 days might be going to 6 sessions. That's 30 sessions. You're bringing a team. That's exponential.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, divide and conquer for sure. If you're bringing a team, make sure you're dividing and conquer. If you do have a team, I suggest using networking hour, or lunch hours, breakfast, to reconvene and talk about what you learned, just briefly. Just kind of come with a summary.
Yep.
It'll help create some synergy around that. Taking that back to your organization, actually maybe making some changes. If you're not coming with somebody, do it online. Get a buddy back at your office and dial them up on Teams and say, hey, I want to talk about what I learned today, just to help synthesize it, so you don't forget what you learned. Just another great way of just kind of cementing all that.
So depending upon, as a reminder, I'm coming at this from a customer perspective as opposed to a partner perspective like Bobby. But at various times in the life cycle of the company that you're working for, there might be times where you might be the only person going. That's going to be on occasion. This year, there's 3 of us going together, and we're going to divide that up and use it as a great learning opportunity for some participants who haven't had a chance to go before. But I will say that at various stages in the life cycle of us using Dynamics, at one point we took 11 people to one of the annual conferences. And that was because of where we were in our collective learning as a group. We are our internal steering group responsible for maintaining and updating the entire Dynamics environment for our company. And we were in a stage of trying to understand more about whether or not we were ready to start re-implementing the product. How would we look at changing our business? And yeah, we brought 11 people from a wide variety of different parts of the business, and then we divided and conquered. And when we got back to Pittsburgh, we compared notes and said, "Are we all on board?" And from that information, we were able to plan out our re-implementation and move the whole business up to Dynamics 365.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so often I would sit, early, like the first couple of summits, I would have so many great ideas, and I was by myself the first couple of summits, and it was just tough to get the energy to go back and do a lot of things when you didn't have somebody there like with you have done it or you have involved. And so that was definitely a major shift that I created for myself, after the first or second go round, that I realized, man, I've got to get people excited as well. So they either come with me or I've got to rope them in the moment somehow to get some real traction. Savannah, anything? And you've been to 2 now, three conferences really, because you went to the public sector conference too.
Oh yes, that is right. I was like, whoa, yeah. Way back
it's
when.
Crazy how that time flies, right?
It is.
Any thoughts on things that you would think about coming to a big conference like this, or you might have heard, learned? Because obviously you haven't been. I've been as a customer many times. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Tad has gone as a customer exclusively, but just from your seat, anything that you would offer up?
Yeah. I mean, you guys obviously have made great points with the whole. Make sure to plan your things out. It gets to be a little overwhelming. There's so many people, so many great opportunities to learn at the sessions and things like that. And with that being said, it can get a little tiring. So obviously you want to make the most of your time, but don't be afraid to, just take a little bit of time for yourself. Kind of like Bobby said, let all the information sink in. I know everybody's social battery can get kind of low during these events. So
yeah,
just take that with you as well. Because you always want to be go, go, go. But yeah, just take that time for yourself is what I think I would suggest as well.
If you're up for it, find somebody else who's exhibiting the same burnout symptoms and have a couple people just go find a seat somewhere and have a little conversation without the stress of having to listen to an entire
right.
Yes.
It's amazing the friendships and professional relationships that I've been able to find and then sustain through these sorts of activities.
Yep,
definitely.
And Savannah, you spend a lot of time at Expo Hall. Obviously, when you are there. I'll kick it off with you real quickly, Savannah. Just thoughts for customers attending Expo Hall. Any thoughts for them, and things they should think about hitting the the Expo Row. I don't know what we call it for DynCon. It's not really called Expo. It's probably more of a
but I don't know what
basically the group of all the vendors.
Yeah. Kind of the same thing with the sessions. Just kind of scope out who's going to be there. and just, make a list of where they're at, which ones you want to hit, who you want to have conversations with. That way you can be intentional with your time there. And then if you have leftover time, just browse around. People are always giving out fun little giveaways as well. So, just take those back as well. But
Tad, are you a collector of giveaways?
On occasion, yes. But
do you have a go-to item that if it's at the table, you're always going to take it? Like, man, if they have a squishy ball, I'm taking the squishy ball.
Yes.
Or is it something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. People usually put a lot of thought into it. And strangely, some of the classic stuff is still really popular. People want pens. Like, as it comes down to it, people like pens.
You're always losing your pen. So
yeah, you're always losing your pen.
The candy treats are always nice too.
And candy treats.
Keep your energy up when you're starting to feel a little run down from running all day. So.
Yes. I always
appreciate we did the candy last year.
Yeah. I always appreciate when people have mints, because it's like, you're always talking to people all day, and it's like after lunch, you're like doing a little breath test, make sure it's okay.
Yeah. So it's bad when the expo person hands you a mint, like, but yeah, okay, I get it now. I get you. Yeah, take the mint.
Take the hint.
Cool. Anything else from an attendee person coming? Anything they should be thinking about? I think we've hit some really good points here. Definitely prepare. Come with intention. Don't be afraid to take some downtime.
Yeah.
Bring a bag for all the swag. So you got some key points. But anything else?
Well, we usually get a bag for the swag.
That's true. I don't think they're giving one this year.
Yeah,
oh no. Okay.
This year.
Okay.
Not a DynamicsCon. It's a virtual.
The other thing that people should probably know is that in all the recent events, there's been more than enough refreshment out at all hours, so you don't have to worry about running dry on a soft drink or water or coffee, and they do a good job of keeping everybody hydrated. And that was especially I don't know how it's going to be in Denver, but that was especially necessary a couple of years ago when we were down in the desert, and we really needed the refreshment at that point.
Yes, that was a hot one. That's the hottest conference I've ever been at.
Yeah,
for lots of reasons. It was good education, it was fun networking, but it was hot. I think it was 103 degrees on average.
We're not going to have that, right?
No, I don't know. It gets over 100 once in a while in Denver, but it's got to be deep into the summer to get that kind of. Yeah, it's got to be like June to July, August maybe. We'll have really temperate weather. It should be, unless we get a crazy spring storm. I can't. I'm put in my good word with the folks, at Denver, but
I'm gonna hold you responsible.
Cool. Let's switch over to speakers real quick, because again, like I said, we have a lot of new speakers. You and I have both done some speaking. I think my first speaking engagement was, I don't think it was the first summit I was at, might have been the second one, but I did a roundtable for people who are in 2009, just a roundtable discussion, which was fun. There was only maybe 15 people that showed up, but we had a great,
That's a good size.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. Just talked about whatever. It was not. There was no, no real, agenda. Just wanted to talk about, any problems they were having, try to get them some resources, answer some questions if I could. And yeah, so the struggle's real sometimes with, where your PowerPoint is, where, all the things to think about. I'll let you go first, Tad, on things that you've learned and things that speakers should be thinking about when they're heading to their sessions.
Well, if you're going to be a speaker at these things, you got to get to the room a little bit early. The amount of time between sessions can sometimes be a little bit on the short side, and you still have people asking questions of the speaker before you, and you're trying to get set up. So give yourself a little bit of time to get set up. They do a good job with the equipment, so it's usually not a problem. Please don't be afraid to use the microphones that are available. Some people don't really like the microphone, and I do get that, but it makes a big difference to the people who are sitting in the back of the room. If you're in a teeny tiny room and you can really project, I guess you can get away with it, but they're going to have a wide variety of room sizes at this year's event.
Yeah.
they've made some estimations of how much interest there would be in a particular topic, and they've put some in smaller rooms, more personal, very so that you're not have people so spread out that they're not really participating. And then there's some bigger rooms where they're expecting a very large number of people. So in those larger rooms, please take advantage of the audio enforcement.
You never know who's in the room. Like you said, maybe there's a person who can't hear as well. And even if you project well, the microphone's still helpful. So yeah, definitely get that mic on.
So that's one thing. The slides, all the speakers are working on their slides right now. They're submitting first drafts of it, and then they're going to do some more refining of those drafts. Some of the speakers will be finishing up the weekend before the event, but
at the event,
they are being driven to work on their initial drafts of everything right now. So it should not be a last minute thing for everybody. And some speakers like to take questions as they come up. Some people want to get through the entire presentation, take questions at the end. So for both the speakers and the audience members, just understand that what you're trying to do and what your counterpart is trying to do. If you're a speaker and you like taking questions as you go, make sure you say that. If you're an audience member and the speaker says, please hold your questions to the end, please be respectful of that. We don't want to throw people off of whatever rhythm that they've gotten prepared for and upset the apple cart.
Yeah, and that goes for speakers too, by the way. We had an issue, at a session at one conference where there was a speaker in the room who I think was trying to be helpful, but was answering and interjecting after every bullet point. It seemed like, according to the person that told me,
mm-hmm.
And it threw the speakers, it threw the current speakers cadence off. It really caused an issue for them in getting through their content, because they weren't expecting it. Like you said, some people want to get through their content, get it done, and then happy to take questions. Others can do it on the fly. And if you get questions, either if there's an extra microphone, give it to the person to ask their question so everybody can hear it, or make sure you repeat the question, because that comes up so often. And it's, if you're in the back of the room and somebody in the front of the room says, and the speaker goes, yes, that's awesome, and you don't know what that guy said, it's pretty annoying.
So all the speakers also need to be reminded that there will be other people in the room to assist you, moderators, and there's going to be some people in there doing head counts. And Bobby and I, along with some of the other planning teams, we're going to be sitting in all these sessions. So Bobby's going to be sitting in one room and I'm going to be sitting in another room, and we'll be there to assist the speakers that we've been communicating with throughout the planning phase. So as a speaker, if you need help, just look to the people who are in the room with you, and we can help get a microphone over to somebody, or we can go get the question from them, or we can help restate the question so everybody can hear it. So don't forget that there are people there to assist you. And then I guess the last thing that I'm thinking of, and maybe you can trigger some other ideas, but the last thing I'm thinking of is, as a speaker, we do want to make it possible for you to do live demos. But sometimes networking, connectivity, and things like that, sometimes they don't always cooperate. And so I always like to have a bunch of static screenshots in reserve that I can refer to if the live demonstration doesn't actually work. And then just don't refer to those slides if the live demo actually works. So the couple things there. Anything else you're thinking of?
Just on the last bit, you could do video cap too if you ever got a good
That's true.
screen capture. Snagit, I use Snagit, and it does great video capture. So if you want to do, if it's important enough that you want to see it in action, you could do a video cap of it or something. The other thing that it's crazy how it went in cycles. So when I first started, you had to remember to bring every type of device connector and cable because you didn't know if it was going to be USB or if it was going to be HDMI or if it was going to be a display port. I mean, there was 4 or 5 different options that you might have. And then it kind of I got comfortable with just HDMI. And I still am. My laptop still has it. But now some of the newer laptops only have a C connector. And so they don't have the HDMI built in. So now you've got to have a C connector like Apple and probably Microsoft Surface. So you've got to have that connector. So if you've got a special connector issue, don't assume it'll be there. They will definitely have the HDMI connection to the projector. But make sure you've got any type of extra connector device you might think you need. Always best to travel with it. Likely somebody in the room will have one. If there's lots of people probably attending your session that are also speaking and might have one, but you don't want to rely on that necessarily. And I still put my PowerPoint on the desktop just in case. So it's up in the cloud on the OneDrive, but I still drop it on the desktop just in case.
Yep.
Yeah, come prepared for the unexpected. Like you guys said, you never know with network issues or adapters or anything like that. So crazy things can happen sometimes.
And I tell you what, even go deeper, just prepare yourself. I've seen this, the projector goes bad. What are you going to do? Just kind of think, give yourself a little bit of leeway to think about, hey, what if my projector does die? I'll
practice
run
your
it from my
tap dance.
laptop and talk it through. Just don't be shocked. You might have a wrong with it. People are going to understand. So don't worry. Don't stress over it. Just, take a breath and breathe, smile and focus and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yep. That's the other thing. For those who might get nervous. Yeah. Just remember everyone's human and don't forget to let your personality shine through because that's what makes any presentation good as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've done a lot of stage acting and a lot of speaking like this. And I even still have to remind myself to slow down. Don't rush my session, unless you're trying to rush, like, oh, no, I only have 15 minutes. I got 30 minutes of stuff to get through, but otherwise make sure you just, keep that in your minds. Like I can always go a little bit slower. It'll seem like you are, but you're probably not. It's just, so, just in your mind, be intentional about that. You'll remain calmer and it'll translate a little better. Those are all good points. I think we hit a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, for sure.
So Savannah, do you have any? We've been doing some fast questions, like just kind of top of mind, like Rorschach type, yes or no, A, B, or C kind of thing. Savannah usually comes up with some good stuff. What do you got for us today? Anything good?
So I have a few little silly questions. So Tad, I know that you live in Pittsburgh now.
Yep.
So the question is, are you a Steelers fan?
You have to be.
You have to be. I like that.
Fans are some of the best fans in the football world. Packers and Steelers travel well. I mean, if the Broncos ever play the Steelers, it's half yellow, half orange here with terrible towels whipping around.
Oh yeah. Yep. My fiance is a Steelers fan, so I kind of have to be by association.
Okay. Yeah.
But my next question, going off of that, have you been to a game in the stadium? Because I've
Yeah. So I've been able to go a couple times. Sometimes it's hard to get tickets because they're all spoken for. But when you know people, sometimes they'll invite you along. So I've gotten a chance to go, and I was able to take my son once, and I've been on good days, and I've been on cold, rainy, wet days. And it's always been a good time.
Yes. Yeah, we went
my follow-up question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I say my follow-up question is the immaculate catch a catch or not a catch?
I try not to get too involved in philosophy.
Football politics.
Yeah.
You know the immaculate catch, Savannah?
Mm-mm.
It was 76, 75. So it's mid to early 70s. towards the end of a game that was, going to define the outcome of the playoffs for the Steelers. And the Steelers quarterback threw a pass deep across the middle. It bounced off of somebody and went backwards. And one of the running backs was running forward and caught it. And it's
Oh my God.
Just inches off the ground.
So it looked like it could have hit the ground, maybe not, but they called it a catch. They stopped play. They talked it through, the referees, and at the end of the day, they called it a catch.
Wow.
But it's been debated now for ever and ever. Some people swear it was a catch, others swear it wasn't. It is football lore. If you go to Pittsburgh's, their airport, isn't there a statue of Franco Harris there with the catch? I mean, that's like how important it is in Pittsburgh sports lore.
Dang. Yeah. Major historical event.
Yeah. It's bigger than the flag. It's huge.
Yeah. That's funny. I do have to say, we went to a game at the Steelers Stadium a couple years ago now, and their hot dog buns are bright red because of the Heinz. I don't know if you knew about this, Bobby, but we got one. We're like, is this okay to eat? Like, it looks like something that should not be eaten. Like that dye.
Is it ketchup flavored or is it just red dye?
It didn't taste ketchup flavored, but it might be. I don't know. Maybe Tad knows something about it.
Actually, I don't remember seeing those, so
really
I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, there's something else.
I'm gonna have to look that up on the search engines.
Yes. And then I just have one more question. I think I kind of got this from you, Bobby. You kind of said something along these lines once, but it's, if you were to punch a fictional character in the face, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh.
I did say that. Yeah, we were talking to Josh Knox a couple of weeks ago.
I have mine.
Okay.
Have you guys ever watched Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Yeah.
It would be Edmund from that, the one that's like sells out his siblings for a Turkish delight.
Okay, yeah. Just walk straight up to him and knock this Turkish delight out of his hand.
Yeah, he was annoying.
Well, that's a really interesting question. I'm trying to decide which way I should go.
While you're thinking, there was a group that I was invited to in the pandemic, which is how this came out, and it was off of an event that was online, and then afterwards the organizer was like, hey, we do this thing every Thursday, and you're welcome to drop in. It's just pretty casual. We talk tech, we talk whatever. So I said, yeah, it sounds fun. So I dropped in, and it was like a secret like club, and to get in, I had to answer this question. Like, before we can let you in, you have to answer this question. And so, there we had it. I by the way, I picked Tom Cruise from Days of Thunder.
That's up there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was just because I love Days of Thunder, but it was like, it was the first thing I thought of. I was like, just because it was such a bad movie, but a good one, that I just wanted to punch him for doing it, but then hug him afterwards. So
would it be unfair of me to pick Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder?
Not at all. Although if you punch him in the gut, your arm might get stuck in that fat suit. That's
exactly.
Oh, but hopefully Tom Cruise isn't watching. I really do like your work, Tom. You have a great body of work out there. I've watched Maverick, Top Gun like 20 times in the last month already. So every time it's on, I leave it on.
It's got to be something if he's been able to portray scoundrels.
Yes.
Good answers. Well, those are all I have for you guys today. Bobby, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think we hit it. I appreciate having Tad on, and look forward to seeing you here in Denver in a few clicks.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to all the new people I'm going to meet too.
Yeah, cool, man.
Well, nice meeting you, Tad, and nice chatting with you.